Hello, clubbers, and Merry Christmas, everyone. This is our last YouTube for 2023. And Scarbo, today we have some special guests. What do we
Yeah,
have?
we've got one absolute legend and a couple of guys building something on the XRPL. Welcome, Mobbers and the Junkies.
Hello,
Hey, what's up?
hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, it's always a
So,
Of
pleasure.
course.
always
Yep.
great having you guys. So, going to talk about Nexus and what you're building on Nexus. Oh, and
Maybe,
by the way, congratulations on your Ripple grant, lads.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
give
Thank
us a
you,
little
thank you.
quick overview of Next before you get started on the details, just for those who don't know what it is.
Yeah, Donnie, do you wanna
Yeah,
give us
yeah. So essentially Nexus is something kind of like been working on in the background for, quite some time, just on and off as kind of like a complementary component to like the Junkiverse and, all the gaming aspects we've been building. Essentially it's like a Unity SDK, essentially like a toolkit for connecting the XRPL to the Unity client, enabling blockchain transactions, minting, trading, buying, selling of NFTs, as well as a lot of things that really kind of bring together asset generation, also the structure to make games more interoperable. It's kind of just like a all-in-one, set of tools that are going to make gaming in blockchain just a little bit easier.
That's a great explanation. Thank you. And Jake, you want to take it over from here?
yeah, might as well. Well, this is like a little Twitter thread that we posted when we first announced that we could publicly announce that we received a grant. So we put together a little thread kind of going over the high level points of Nexus. And we can go along each one and kind of get more depth into it and show some examples. I think would be pretty cool.
So I could mint a collection using Nexus.
Yes, you can. And that's the cool thing about it is we've built the junkies within Unity with using a very, very early version of Nexus. But what that enabled us to do is we had our assets interoperable right from the get-go. So we didn't have to struggle and figure out a flow to make our junkies usable in game. It was already done like that
Right.
because we decided to build it in there. So yeah, this is showing off the wallet connection. So you're signing in with your Zone wallet right now. And the cool thing about this is all of these NFTs, none of them are pulled from IPFS. So they're loading in a fraction of a second, each one of these NFTs. They're actually pulling one little string from the metadata, and that's the DNA code. And what that is doing is it's allowing Nexus and Unity to reconstitute the entire character just based on just one little tiny code. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's what kind of makes it like easy for other projects to, incorporate with other projects. You could have a project come in and have this string or hash of numbers, and their playable characters are, in our case, the junkies, but we could easily have swapped that to the droids, and droids could have the playable characters. It's all about kind of like how you assign that and pick what you want your characters to be. And it doesn't even have to be the playable characters. It can be assets within any kind of ecosystem, whether you have a project that's building, it's land based or level based. Like you can pull in essentially anything in a fraction of a second just based on that little strip of code.
Yeah.
So would that appear in the Junkiverse or not? That's just for minting.
Would the code appear in the
Yeah.
junkie? Well,
If I
it's
use
in.
Nexus to mint, that wouldn't appear in the Junkiverse, would it?
Oh, not by default. No,
No.
not by
Okay.
default. But yeah, it's more of a thing where projects come in to kind of, whether they want to, work with us or not, they're able to go in and set themselves up to be, more ecosystem friendly in the future.
Right.
And that's kind of the big part about it.
Yeah, that's something that we really want to create as well is way in the future, of course. But develop a Nexus hub where assets are shared, and everybody who uses the Nexus standard uploads their assets into one place, and we can all log into the same little hub or metaverse and use each other's art. I think would be a really cool thing. But kind of circling back to the reconstitution feature, I have your wallet address here, and I found the Pop NFTs that you have. Pop is a collection that we did using Nexus. It's the first collection outside the Junkiverse. Well, it's a Junkiverse related project, but it's the first outside team that we wanted to work with and make a collection for, and we used Nexus for it as well. So which one do you want to use, Scarborough?
Oh, I don't care, mate.
446. All right,
Second one.
4.
Let's go second one.
All right.
It's Christmas.
So yeah,
Oh,
remember this, right? Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool one. You can remember that right there.
Yeah.
So all Unity is doing is it's just taking this string right here, right?
Yeah.
We pop it in to the reconstitution. It looks a little different right now because it is a randomized particle effect because it's firework. You know, you don't want to have the same thing every time, but it's the same exact traits, which is pretty cool.
And it's 3D, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is 3D.
You can rotate it, and
Oh,
it
here we
just
go.
lives inside of the Junkiverse.
It does, yeah.
It's volumetric, basically.
Yeah. Let's do another one. Just so let's do a random one. One of y'all have to pick it. So let me be sure real quick. All right. Tell me when to stop.
Now. That one I do. 52.
This one right here.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this one's a really boring one.
Oh wow, that's me. It's Christmas.
Hey, you can see it, so.
Yeah. So yeah, there it is. So yeah, this is what happens at a mass scale whenever you first log into a game that's using Nexus. It just is taking all of these strings and it is converting them into game assets that you have uploaded and built within Unity.
So for
Yeah,
from the player's point of view, he will log in, let's say, and then the game will scan the address and see what NFT assets have the strings that he can use, and then import them into the game.
Yeah. So we just go by taxon. So a game developer can choose which projects that they want or are using, depending on what's inside your wallet, and can log in with them. But we're also
it's gated, right? Like it's the developer can kind of gate their world they're building with what assets you have in your wallet, correct?
Oh yeah,
Right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
They can
So
choose the gate and what not to, and then so it connects the Web3 part, NFTs into the game.
So Modbus,
Yeah.
basically, I cannot just mint my own NFT and add my own metadata and taxon and sneak myself some stuff into your game that you don't want to have in there.
No.
The best way I would describe it is like, I like to
That's what I
refer
was
to it as like,
planning on doing.
Donnie.
I like to refer to it as like the Nexus stack. So, each game, ecosystem, whatever it is, has their own stack. And with the example on the screen is like, okay, right now it's the Junkies and the Pop collection and our droids. And that's where you do need essentially the assets. So that's when it comes to like, Jake was talking about the idea of like a hub. But what you can do is, say we went and partnered with the Xbot project or something. It's like, there's a sharing of assets to get it into that stack. And then it's as simple as, putting in the issue or the taxon. And then we have access to have kind of a partnership and incorporate them in some way. And also it's very like, it's not resource intensive at all. So it makes the flow of everything a little bit, quicker. And obviously like this can work with any 3D art, 2D art. essentially anything you can kind of put in and set up in a environment like this.
And so this is exclusively tied to the Unity game engine.
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
is this
right now? Yes,
Yeah,
right
let's
now.
say you guys are hopping over and doing stuff with Unreal. Could you apply that, a version
Oh,
of
yeah.
Nexus? So are you
Totally.
guys covered for this? Like that it's your idea and your patented basically way of doing this?
Well, it is an open source project, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. I forgot
anybody
about
can
that.
build with it. Anybody can make changes and do whatever they want with it.
It's on GitHub.
It'll be
It's not
on
public
GitHub,
It'll be
yet,
there.
but yeah, it will. We're also going to, we have a slight business model as well to it. If people want us to help create Nexus ready assets and integrate it into their games. So that's how we could make some money to keep development ongoing without open source contributions from others.
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah,
putting in a lot of
it's-
work, right? A lot of time,
Charge
money.
your millions, mate.
Yeah, essentially it's just like you have people even on the XRPL that have projects, might not be the biggest developer, and it's the idea is like even with like the login is like we also want to offer to people projects, less experienced teams, like, okay, yeah, we can host your your login system, your assets, your implementation, and do everything for a reasonable price, and also just make sure everything works within their ecosystem. That's the one thing about the XRPL is we've all been building here, especially since the beginning of NFTs and tokens, and it's just kind of been a process. So if it can help other people come in and build a game or build a project, and like this can also work with web-based games, like smaller things, like there's a lot to it, and it's essentially just trying to get as many people on the XRPL as possible.
Yeah.
And help the XRPL gaming, ecosystem grow. Get some game developers on, on the XRPL.
Oh yeah. Like as a game developer, hearing the word blockchain integration or anything to do with Web3 is such a scary topic to get into, because typical game developers have no idea unless they they have a background in this stuff. But wanting to explore it is a very scary thing, and Nexus just makes it that much easier, and showing people how an idiot like myself can make NFTs work in a game is a pretty cool thing.
You're underselling yourself, I would say.
I'm gonna say, if you're an idiot, I'm about to go.
Well,
Man.
when it really comes to like deep in ingraining of blockchain aspects into a game, I've definitely had my hand held by our team, and they're extremely intelligent, and
Good team.
yeah. I just like doing art and making games, and if I can do this, anybody can.
And it's going to take tools like these to help game developers grow and incorporate the XRPL into their their game structure. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm really excited about Nexus and where it's going to be heading.
Yeah, and essentially like that's the idea of Ripple's grant program and open sourcing things is there's a lot of projects who have come on and put out some cool tools, even Cafe having those different little Discord bots and just like ecosystem kind of stimulating tools, because we all know we had that big period of a lull in the NFT community, and some could argue we're still kind of in that, but that's kind of essentially why it's like building stuff like this just kind of adds to what's going on and what is possible, and it helps relate to game developers. And like Jake said, it's like it can be scary for some of them, the countless stories we've heard of developers, artists getting screwed over by projects or whatnot. It's like it is scary, and there's always bad actors, but the more tools that we can release and other projects can release that kind of like make that transition easier, it really helps kind of the overall sentiment with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
and
is
another
this what
thing.
you're concentrating on now is Nexus, or are you still building Junkiverse behind as well? I know this is
Oh,
part of it, but
oh yeah, doing both. We've always been accustomed to being able to juggle multiple things at once, and we've been developing Nexus along with our game for honestly about a year and a half, I think.
Yeah,
So it's
almost a year and a half.
yeah, almost a year and a half. So it's been a long time coming, but it's something that will progress XRPL gaming as a whole. So
yeah.
working on Nexus is working on our game, if I could say. But every single day I'm also working on our little demo build that we have coming out soon, and generating new collections and refining some features. But
Hang on a second. You said generating new collections. Do you have a sneak peek or something for us, or is it still under wraps?
I could show. I'll
the-
have a sneak peek if you want a sneak peek.
I think the most we can say now is we're planning to do something cool for Christmas. If everything goes to plan, we'll have a little announcement on Christmas or maybe Christmas Eve, that I think everyone will be pretty excited about. We're pretty excited about. It's a culmination of a lot of things, but other than that, like Jake said, is he's been working on a cool demo, working with a lot of new lighting, new environment, that I think is going to look really cool, and people
Yeah.
are really going to like. It's essentially just an overhaul to the whole engine, the in-game environment, and it's gonna be something sexy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Everyone
Oh.
can't wait to see this, right? I mean, because every time we have you guys on and you show us what's going on, and it's like we're mind blown. I mean, we see here
I
the
can't keep
buildings.
up.
I just looking at those buildings with the lighting and everything, the whole design, it's fantastic. So I can't even imagine what's next, or how does
Yeah.
it get better? But you guys always pull it off.
No, it's definitely gotten a lot better, and we've definitely learned a lot and refined some things. So I think gonna be pleasantly surprised this next demo build. So
So you're talking about the demo build. Is that a new like a game engine version for the
it's
game, or like a mini
it's
demo, like a video? What are we gonna see?
yeah, it's gonna be like a little quest that you're gonna play through, and you're
Oh
gonna
wow,
see
so it's actually playable.
yeah. It's gonna be a playable quest, to kind of test some mechanics, especially with a new cover shooter mechanics that we've built into the project. We're messing around with some experimental features. Right now we're in the testing phases of it, and we don't know if we're gonna push it live within the first demo build, but it's an AI chat bot, and you can go up to
Oh.
NPCs, and they have text to voice as well, so you can have dynamic conversations with Junkiverse NPCs that are walking around in the world. That's something we're
I'm gonna
messing
get
around with right
practicing.
now.
Nick is gonna
Yeah.
get stuck with one of those
I'm stuck
NPCs.
logging in. Trust me.
Nick, you're
Yeah,
gonna
so you'll never be lonely at Rusty's bar sitting down. You can
Oh
just
well,
talk
I'll
to
be fine. Someone will come and join me.
yeah, that is it's very early on, and we want to make sure that it's actually polished and works well before we actually implement it. We might give y'all an early build to test around with if you would like.
I think
Hey,
that's
if you want
always
to dump, if you want to dummy
awesome.
crash it, send it to me, Jake. Trust me.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah,
so
after seeing that Matrix demo, I saw a lot of flaws with the Matrix demo. If y'all have seen that,
you're talking
No.
about the which one? The one with Unreal Engine?
yeah, with Unreal, and they you walk up to the NPCs and you use your voice and speak to them.
Right, and yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
I don't
Well,
either.
yeah,
Would they talk back to you or something, or what?
Yeah, they do. They do talk back to you, but their voices are very generic and they're kind of I don't know. They're not as smart as you would expect.
There's a
Yeah.
YouTuber that interviews them randomly on the street and asks them if they're aware that they're in a game. And some of the responses are really creepy.
Oh, that.
I feel like
You're
I've
weird.
seen it. Most of the responses are like, "I need to get to work. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
You walk up to them. Stop talking to me. I'm walking.
Yeah.
Like, well, sounded a great conversation, but
But that's really just the beginning though, right? Because this year was
Oh,
really
yeah.
the year of
beans.
ChatGPT, and what's coming in the next few months is gonna be insane.
oh yeah, it's moving way too quick. It's way too quick, but you know,
AI
it's
is mental.
yeah, it's a double-edged sword. So
Now imagine how it's going to be in 5 years.
Oh, I love AI. I
Hard to
absolutely
imagine.
love it. I love it.
yeah, we're gonna be
Cool.
half computer by then.
Oh, that's fine. As long as I ain't got to go to work, I'm fine with that.
You just
Sleep
tell your robot
mode.
what to do for you at work.
Sleep. Yeah, send me robot to work.
Jake,
Just have to teach it to swear.
quick question about the whole Unity thing that's been happening with their plan changes and their pricing. Does that affect you guys at all?
No, it actually doesn't.
We I don't want to interject, but I'd say we'd love one day for it to affect us.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, they did kind of change it to, revolve a little bit more around like larger scaled projects, and that's like talking about hundreds of thousands of players and just a lot of online components. But at the end of the day, like initially, like some of the stuff may have affected us before they kind of went back and changed some of their policies and updates. But it is interesting because Unity is a very great engine, and it's not necessarily set up like Unreal in the sense where it's going for these hyper realistic environments. There are a lot of things it can do that are similar to that, but it wasn't built to be this realistic engine. And I think they were just kind of trying to do something to compete and kind of let people know that we're not messing around. And
Unity's whole flow when it comes to charging developers is literally the same exact as Unreal's now. But before they made that big change in the community outroar, it was quite an issue. But I think it was to introduce this new system, so they can compete with Unreal. But yeah, like Donnie said, it's definitely a problem that we strive to have.
I'm sure you
It's,
will. I'm
yeah.
sure you will.
That's the goal is to be worrying about paying 2.5% because we made over $1 million of in-game transactions, But yeah, so we can continue talking about some junkie stuff now. I think we covered everything for
Mhm.
Nexus.
So that's it for Nexus, right? Yeah. Talk about some of the junkies news and what's coming.
Yeah, so we were just kind of talking about the little demo build. It's coming together very well, testing out some new mechanics, and the cover shooter stuff is looking great. Christmas is coming up with a surprise, like we kind of talked about. What else, Donnie? What else can we share right now?
yeah, I mean, the Christmas stuff's hard to share. Maybe by the time this comes out, depending. Oh, you guys release this tonight, right?
Oh, it's quick. It's
Well,
quick.
Yeah,
this
okay,
weekend
okay.
at the latest, yeah.
This weekend, yeah.
I mean, if you
Probably
want us to
probably a
hold
little
it
soon.
for a couple days, we can do that.
No. I think we'll just kind of let everybody, check it out when it comes out. But yeah,
But for
other than
those
that,
people
Feed the community.
who do watch this, that they will have a little sneak while everybody else, which is the majority, will not know what's happening.
Yeah. So what's that?
exactly.
In
Exactly.
in the Christmas little treat is going to be for all the junkie holders, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like how many junkies you hold, or is it just per wallet?
It's gonna be, as of right now, it's gonna be per junkie.
Okay, Scarborough, you have to be
Oh.
excluded. You have like 80.
I'm a small fry, mate. I'm a small fry.
So it's going to be more like the droid kind of a thing, than like the Halloween candy and that kind of thing, correct? As far as
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a little twist on it. We can't answer too many of these questions and not give it away. But
Oh
No, we want some little surprise, but it's a
no,
good teaser.
no.
It's a good teaser.
Tease the community.
Yeah.
saying
I've
what
seen-
she's
I've
think
seen
of
got.
it
the
like our
prototype.
Christmas present.
Yeah, I've seen the
Yeah.
prototype and it's really cool. Looks really cool. It's gonna be a cool little little thing that we get to.
What do you mean you've seen the prototype mod bus? How?
Hey,
I'm not
spilling-
gonna say anything
spilling
other
too
than that.
much.
How?
But it's pretty cool. Y'all enjoy it.
Well, it's nice that you
Yeah.
guys are doing something for Christmas. We did something also. We did the little NFT coins that we did with a snowflake on it.
Yes.
And
Oh yeah.
nice
Yeah,
to
that was
get
so
back.
cool. Thanks, guys.
Did you get two, Jake, or the one?
I haven't claimed it yet.
Oh,
I just saw the message as soon as I was downloading Zoom to join, but right after this, I'll definitely claim it. Oh, another thing for the junkies, we're gonna be ramping up our founders giveaways and trying to give them more to get more of them out there to OG members and community. We're limiting it now to be only junkies that receive rewards when it comes to like JSC and winning junkies and things outside. But especially for this Christmas stuff, I will add there is going to be a feature that we plan on gift giving to get in the holiday spirit. So some
Santa
select members of
junkie.
our community. Yeah. So we need some Santa's helpers. So we need some prominent figures of the junkie community to hand out some gifts for us to people who don't own junkies. It's gonna be something small, something cool, but
I don't own any.
well, it's
See,
gonna
I'm
be
waiting for the law. I'm waiting for another law, lads. I'm
Scarborough,
all
you're the
I'm all
perfect
set for a
Santa.
law.
Yeah,
I'm set for a law. I hate Christmas, but I'm the perfect Santa.
you are the perfect Santa with a vodka in one hand and a big bag in
Uh,
another full of gifts.
yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll see how that ends up turning out, but yeah, when it comes to the founders, I definitely feel like there is an elevated form of quality when it comes to those collections, and I feel like the junkies are a little bit outdated when it comes to a lot of our new lighting systems and things in that sense. So what I am going to be doing in the next couple of months is, of course, we're going to have a community vote on this, but updating junkie art and adding like a season 2 to where they can both be toggled, kind of like how D-Gods have done in the past. I think that's a really cool flow for them. You can go onto their website and check out your NFTs, and you can see season 1, which is like the very first edition. Season 2 was just like little updated traits for the art, and that's something I want to definitely do with the junkies as well.
How about the original ones, Jake? Are they ever going to become available?
You mean the 2D?
Oh
Pixel art
yeah.
ones.
Oh
Honestly,
man,
it
I
might,
love
we,
them. I
we
love
did think
them.
about that a while ago, but
Oh, I love
you know,
them.
maybe it'll be something we give away to some of the OG people or launch something through, Junction. But
I mean,
it
now
was
that I
one of
think
those.
about it, it could be something that we do with like the seasonal things, just like never mind.
See, my
I gotta run
PFP,
it
I'll
through my head.
never get rid of that
Like
one.
a one-
I
a
love
one
that
day-
little PFP with a red nose. Oh man.
The 2D 1D claim would be kind of cool, like a little flash claim, just for the
Yeah,
people who like
Def-
are on Discord and whatnot. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, that definitely could be.
Yeah, I just want my little PFP that you made, mate. That's everywhere with its little red nose.
And maybe you'll be getting a founder for your birthday, and I'll give him a red nose.
I've got a long time to wait.
Can you show a little bit, like a video or a little bit of the cover system? Do you have that available, Jake?
I don't, because this is the new computer.
That's right. Okay.
But I'll send Duncan a pre-recorded video to overlay. If
Will
you
do.
like.
Oh.
Yeah. So you guys are seeing that right now.
Oh, that's so cool! Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
So when are these going to become available, Jake? Property, or is there
Oh,
no
the
date for
land.
this? Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're done and they're ready to go. We've been sitting on them for a while because it's going to be a big drop, and it's going to have probably one of the biggest updates to our game and our build. out of everything. So we want to wait for the perfect time to do it.
Yeah. Are you still doing the districts? Is that still a thing you're
Yeah,
doing?
that's still the plan, is having districts in little
Yeah.
neighborhoods and stuff, and depending on what the metadata of your NFT is where it's placed into
Right.
the world, the Junkiverse. So it's kind of like a grid-based land system, but a little bit
You've not changed that then,
complex.
so that's still the district as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
not going to
still-
be like, just a bunch of plots. We're going to actually like set it up, like you said, like in neighborhoods where it actually looks like a little
Yeah.
neighborhood with some, little buildings and, whether it's a post office or a bar, like really setting it up to be kind of like, a homey environment. But
Yeah.
that's what Jake says. Like a lot of this land is done. There's some updates we want to do with this new lighting system, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like you said, just waiting kind of for the right time and
Yeah.
hoping to get
Totally
that out within a
understandable.
reasonable time frame.
Mhm.
And you're still doing the shops and things like that you originally set out to do within.
So like in-game shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually something that we're building with Nexus, which I don't think we touched on actually, is the smart call feature that we're making.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, but the smart call stuff is something that we're developing at the very end of building Nexus before the grant. So that's something with the grant money that we're going to be getting deep into. So it's like a customizable API smart call thing that's done in Unity. So you can like limit transactions per day. You can make a repeatable transaction. You can make a quest reward. It's just pretty much in-game minting and in-game transactions for developers to use. And
Yeah, just kind of how you do, rewards in a typical Web 2 game, but it adds a little bit, of depth where, like Jake said, it can be, a daily claim or even like the, Scarbo, the little game we got going on in the Discord, you can play something every once in a while or something pops up. Just to add like another level of utility or whatnot, whether it's tied to NFTs or in-game loot NFTs or the actual token, whether it's JSC or whether it's another project's token. It just adds a little more depth and connection to the blockchain than just running a strictly like off-chain token or in-game currency.
Yeah,
You answered my next question then, Donnie, regarding in-game currency. Would it just be JSC or if a project come on their own token or reward? So
it depends on like the environment, like within our ecosystem, the goal is to have JSC as the in-game currency as well.
for premium,
and
for buying premium things. When it comes to
Yeah.
like strictly like in-game stuff that where it doesn't really make sense to use all those transactions and calls, it's going to be with like scrap pieces and parts or like crafting currency and stuff like that. But when it comes to like buying cosmetic items and new collections of critters and crawlers and maybe some gun skins or whatnot, yeah, JSC will be used as well as XRP if chosen.
So I have a
Yeah.
question to using the currency in game. As we know, we're gonna get the EVM sidechain, right? Are you gonna use your in-game currency on chain directly, or is it gonna be within your own smart contract as to not put it all up on the main ledger?
So I mean, to answer that, it's
It's
an
a good
unknown
question,
right
right?
now.
It's unknown. Yeah, I would say so.
It's a good question because a lot of things like can play out at the time that we fully implement all of the JSC and token features. Because the EVM sidechain, is cool. May not be the best solution for us. It could be ZAO, like it could be or
Gonna say that one,
obviously.
Jake. Jeez.
Yeah, it's good. It really depends like where the technology's at, like at the time of like kind of deployment, because it's one of those things where it's like there are ways where if we did release everything as is, we could kind of shift everything to another like side things, but at the same time, it's like, you know, a lot of people do, you know, talk about the stress on the main ledger and all this, but just how like when NFTs were coming out, you know, everyone was concerned with, oh, you know, spread out your NFT mints, like we're gonna, you know, we don't want to destroy the ledger or whatnot, and you know, it held up and you know, kind of exceeded expectations, so it, you know, was already proven to do a lot more than, you know, what they could do. But the side chains are, you know, a big part of keeping, you know, the traffic off the main net. But it really just depends, like what happens with mainnet and what happens with these side chains and what makes the most sense for everything.
I have another question. I see your collection, the mods. Have we seen those yet or not yet?
Oh, the
The
mutts.
mutts.
The mutts might have something to do with something soon.
Something with something that we can't get into, I
With
suppose.
something, with something.
Something with something that might be something happening.
Something.
All right. So Nick, you can ask the next question since that was my question and it's been shot down.
Oh, good. Are you still going to be doing scrapyard challenges and outside rusties, the original stuff still?
What
Is
do you
there-
mean by scrapyard challenges?
I remember when I originally joined, there was going to be like scrap
Yeah.
car races and go
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, the
scrapyard and all that
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah, well, like,
that's def-
go ahead, Donnie.
no, I was gonna say, yeah, it's definitely a lot of stuff we want to incorporate. You know, when the project first started, the vision for the game and the vision for everything was honestly a lot, you know, smaller and less complex than it is now. So, you know, it's just finding some new ways to implement some of those things. But I mean, yeah, overall, it's like I think, and Jake thinks that some of those things would be real cool to actually have in this new stack and everything. So it's definitely something that we hope to accomplish.
but you'll still stick to your original ideas and things like that, even though you've progressed with what you're building.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to an extent, for sure.
Incorporating them in a way it makes sense now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Modbus, over to you.
Yeah. So excited for the future on where everything's going. The project is progressing very well. A lot of the back end stuff that's being built, you know, and I really what I think is really cool is that the team, when they first came out with the Junkie NFTs, they pre-built everything inside Unity. So we're like the only project to do that on the XRPL that actually built all their assets inside the game and released it. So they had the forethought to think all that through, which is really, really cool and amazing. But yeah, anyways.
It's cool, and that's one of the things. Like even going back to Nexus is like, you know, I know of one guy doing something cool on Solana, not quite the same thing, but it's like a lot of people, you know, have these connections, and that's the thing with EVM and ETH, and there's a lot of stuff. Like I mean, if you compare, you know, the XRPL to ETH's like the Empire State Building, and you know, we're like a single family home, the XRPL, and it's like there's so many things that exist over there because there's been so much money and things like that, and some of those things do apply. You know, there's some projects and companies, you know, on a larger scale that are coming over and, you know, building wallets for the XRPL, putting some of their business on the XRPL. You know, and there's a long way, like away from, you know, to quote unquote catch up or to surpass, but you know, the idea is to keep building, because you know, one with Ripple and XRPL, there's a little bit of that legal clarity, at least here in the US, which hopefully, you know, whenever we get into this next you know, bull market, can just at least be a positive thing, especially for, you know, companies, and not necessarily like, you know, NFTs or games, just as the ecosystem as a whole, to bring some more liquidity just into the markets. And you know, I think we have some exciting times ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think lots of liquidity has been sitting around waiting to get the green light.
Yeah, agreed.
And then
I think like with the whole NFT ecosystem, things are definitely going to change. I think that we're going to see less PFP projects and more utility based NFT projects that carry a specific systems with them, especially when it comes to gaming. I think is going to be a real big player in this next bull. So it's all just about preparing, and that's something that we've been doing for, especially with Nexus, for a year and a half. Is just preparing for this next cycle and making sure we're positioned correctly.
So do you think more gaming people have come over to the XRPL or...
Yeah, I think especially with Nexus is going to bring traffic of developers and people wanting to integrate the XRPL. And Nexus is actually, its foundation is blockchain agnostic. So it can be used on any chain. We just have to tweak a little bit, but that's the goal. That's the end goal is to bring chains together within one platform.
Yeah, and it's like Jake said, it's like it was kind of built on a structure that could be taken and modified. And that's part of the thing with it being open source is we hope to draw that traffic and bring somebody from Polkadot or ETH or Polygon or whatever the chain is, and they could see it and they could fully take it and fork off the GitHub repo and create their own implementation elsewhere. And we'd love to see that happen. But as of now, it's XRPL is the home, and like you asked, it's like, will there be more gamers in XRPL? It's like, yeah. I mean, I think there will be. I think there'll be more gamers coming into Web3 in general. The same way people came into the last bull market. People I've talked to in real life who never messed with crypto, but then they went in and bought all these different NFTs. It's kind of just like the news brings in people, the hype brings in people, and with how big the gaming market is now, it's like we even saw a little bit of it like in that last bull run. It's like some projects like Axie Infinity is like they had plenty of people who never messed with crypto before come in, really like the concept of earning while you play, and so there's so many different aspects that are very appealing to people. I know that if 10 years ago, if I was 14 running around with being able to make some money in games, I probably would have done it.
10 years.
So you're saying the blockchain gamers are going to be the new TikTokers of the next 10 years?
That's quite
I don't know.
possible.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, like it goes beyond just like play to earn gaming. It's all about security of your own assets and being able to trade things that you've purchased in the past. A game like Call of Duty, people are spending $40 for a weapon skin, and they release a new Call of Duty every 2 years. So to me, I wouldn't want to invest $40 every week to get the new skin just for a game that's going to come out in 2 years. Like, I want to be able to use that skin in the next game. And then I want it tied to my wallet address, and I want to bring that skin into a Battlefield game. That's what it's all about. I think it's really beyond play to earn gaming. I think is a front that is used a lot when it comes to blockchain, and it's a cool thing, and it's a really interesting structure. But a lot of it is just the asset security and ownership.
And in global
Yeah,
terms, it's also about metaverse standards, right? Interoperability of all those
Yeah.
quote metaverses that aren't really real metaverses, right?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, it's like there's probably never going to be a real metaverse. I mean, there probably will be, but not for a
Metaverse is
while.
technically right now probably not possible, right? Because we would imagine something that is just like the internet that you can plug in, but in 3D and all of that. So it's kind of a lot of technical high demand. Yeah,
exactly, because I could see a world where someone develops some kind of system that you can create an account, upload assets, which that exists. You can upload your assets, play as that character if it's in the right format. But I can see a world where whether it's AI or some genius programmer can set it up to do all this automatically, where the second say you Scarbone, you guys made out a collection of you know, little dwarfs. You know, they can all
Good
be
idea.
pull right in, right into the metaverse. But I think, you know, also adding on to what, you know, Jake was saying, in terms of like, you know, play to earn and whatnot, and the asset security, you know, it is exactly like what we aim to do with Nexus too. Because imagine, you know, you can have ownership of your asset, you can have it through different versions of a game, but it also, you know, not just adds to a project, but adds to, you know, the holder and the owner of that asset can then, you know, be a part of this project, support another project, and there could be crossover where we could easily, you know, it could take us a day to implement all the junkies into, you know, a different game environment working with Unity. It's like, it does make it simple, makes it easy. And where we are now with everything, it's like you still need like that collaboration to make it happen, but it makes it a lot simpler.
I mean, it's so early days that there isn't even a protocol, right, for metaverse, and where you can interact with each other. Let's say it doesn't exist. I mean, you're doing the first step with Nexus, basically, for one aspect of it, right?
Yeah, and that's what we want to achieve with it. Like, we don't know how big Nexus could possibly get, but it's all about making a standard that everybody can use and everybody can work with each other, instead of like a centralized platform or game where
Or a
everybody's calling it the
company-gated
metaverse now.
standard, right? Like we have
Yeah,
so many.
exactly. It's like when Facebook changed to when Facebook changed to Meta, and they say, hey, we have the metaverse, but it's just a VR lobby that you walk around and high five people in. Like, and I think that has put a stain on the terminology of a metaverse, and a lot of people are thinking of a metaverse as, you know, it's just a walled garden, and that's how it shouldn't be, and that's how it never was.
Yeah, agreed. I think a true metaverse is going to be like just open.
Yeah, it's like Ready Player One, right? If you guys seen the
Right,
movie or read the
exactly.
book,
No,
that's
not
really
yet.
a
Not
metaverse.
watched it yet.
The metaverse, basically, like the internet. It's
Yeah.
open. It has many planets, many worlds, many subsections for all kinds of activities, and it's all interconnected worldwide, and anyone can access it.
Which would take many years of development.
Yeah.
Many.
And a lots of power, energy requirements, hardware,
Yes.
and so forth.
Well, I mean, like, it would take individuals, you know, it would take just people building games. But
yes, under a
it's just
unified
finding,
standard.
Yeah, unified
like
standard
yeah,
connecting
they'd have to be
games.
unified.
Yeah, and open source. And it would
Yeah.
start building out bigger and bigger and bigger.
yeah,
Yeah,
So-
like a unified standard, like something like Nexus, you know, that they use to bring all their assets inside the game hub. Yeah.
it's definitely like the first step, you know. It's
Let's
what
say
we're
I'm
aiming for.
playing GTA 6 and I got my
What?
I'm playing GTA 6 and I have my Lucia character and there's a portal on the street and I hop in and I have my Lucia character now within the Junkiverse. Just a
Yeah, I mean,
pixelated
you'd have to,
voxel version, you know, but an open standard, you know, so to speak.
yeah, you definitely have to speak to the overlords over at Rockstar about getting that license, and you know, they're big
That's
AAA
what-
companies are pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's
It's all about the money with them.
many years away.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
order, you're gonna have like it's gonna have to be so big to where the ones the market movers, the market makers are gonna say, you know what, we have to get into this, or we're gonna lose market share, and then they start implementing a really open, unified system.
But you see, this is
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying is like what happens right now with GTA R, for example, right? People are taking it and they're running with it and they're adding features that were never really intended, and they're making it just happen. And it's running away from them, you know, from the companies in a way. So they'll have to eventually follow up and, you know, play along. I hope it'll
Yeah.
work out like that, you know, with open source. And people just, there's so many talented people out there, right? That'll learn quick and get things done that we can't even imagine right now with tools that are
Yeah.
open source.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just gonna take a handful of indie developers to really get the ball rolling, and I think it'll be a domino effect from there. But it really has to be a methodical standard and something that's capable of bringing on anything and everybody. So we'll see where the future takes us, you know.
Guys, do you have anything else you want to cover for today? If so, I give the word to each of you, and then we can close it out with Nick.
Donnie?
Donnie?
Oh, hey, sorry. I don't know what happened there. I hit the space bar and
See,
it
I
muted
ran
me.
off for a wee as well, but don't worry about it.
No, I think we covered a lot of good things today. You know, I think we'll you know, have a lot of cool things now, especially into the new year. But yeah, I mean, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. Thanks for having us on here. I think it was a good conversation, and you know, hope to be back in the new year once we get some more
Definitely.
things out and can talk about them.
Yeah,
Number
for
one
sure.
guess.
Jake?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year, and it's always a pleasure coming on here. We always enjoy it, and we'll be back soon to kind of go over some more junky stuff and show off the demo build, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And we'll have obviously the undisclosed possible Christmas surprise coming, right? And
Yes.
Modbus, your words?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Spend a lot of time with your family and be safe and looking forward to all the fun stuff that's going to happen next year.
Oh yeah.
And with that, my friend Nick.
To me, happy Christmas, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Modbus family, Donnie, safe travels. Love you all. And on that note, to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon. Merry Christmas.
Moon.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
people.